Okay, today we're going over an 820-3115 board that was totally dead. It had no green light in the charger, no voltage anywhere on the board. And what we found was that it was because of a short to ground on the main DCN rail. So just to go over here to the computer and the PDF reader so that I can show you what was wrong, let's switch over here. So over here in the power system architecture for an 820-3115, the AC adapter comes in and then goes to F6905. Now on this side, right over here on the other side of F6905, there was a 0 ohm short to ground. So I did what I tell you guys to do when there's a short to ground, and I put power on the board from the power supply. So I attached the positive probe of this to that fuse, and I attached the negative end, or the ground end, to a screw hole in the board. And what I noticed is regardless of how much power I put in, the board never got hot. And none of the components got hot, which meant the short to ground was not on a component, it was actually inside of the motherboard, and that's no good. So let me show you what it is we did to get around that. So this rail, so let's go to the board view. So you can see the board view here. Now on the board view, what I did is I just did this, and it's going to show me everywhere on the board that shows up. So that shows up first at the DCN board fuse. If you aren't good at Pac-Man in the 80s, you're not going to be good at navigating this board view software. So it shows up on F6905. Then it goes down here to the input of the PP3V42 power supply by R6990. Then it goes over here to the ISL6259 circuit to provide 16 volts over here. It goes to this FET that provides the 16 volts from the charger to the buck converter that the ISL6259 is controlling. It goes over here to the voltage divider that feeds the gate of this MOSFET over here, and it goes to this diode DC7005, which feeds R7010, which is for charger ACN, and it also goes to the SMC DCN sense, which senses the amount of voltage on the DCN rail. So let's just show you that in the PDF. What was I just doing? Where was I? Short to ground. All right, so short to ground over here. So this is PPDCN G3 hot from the charger. This was shorted to ground. And over here, that feeds this voltage divider with R7010 and R7011 that goes to the charger ACN pin. Now, it needs to see 4 volts here before the ISL6259 will shoot a SMC BCAC OK, which is needed for the one-wire circuit to work. If you're kind of confused as to what the one-wire circuit does, you can check out the one-wire circuit videos on this channel. So if you guys watched that video on the no backlight because of the backlight shorted to ground inside the board, you probably have an idea of what I'm going to do at this point. And here is what I did. So we took all the stuff that was running along that line, so from here, that was shorted to ground, and we decided to create a new path for it. So this here is where the fuse was for DCN. That little wire goes around here and to the fuse, which is professionally mounted on the fan. The fuse then goes to the inrush limiter, which is also professionally mounted on the fan. That then goes over to the ISL circuit area over here. So this is where the voltage divider is for the gate of that limiter to turn it on. So this is going to be for the gate of that MOSFET over there. It also goes to this diode over here. So you have the fuse going to the diode, where that's going to be going to the voltage divider of this resistor, and I believe the one right next to it for charger ACN. Now that is also going to SMC DCN iSense over here for so that the SMC can tell the exact voltage on the DCN board. And that's also going to the other side of the board where the input to the PP3V42 circuit is. Right here. And let's see what the result of that is. Do you think that my Frankenstein board works? One way to find out. So we have a RAM stick plugged in there. We have a speaker. We have DCN board, a fan, and a screen. So let's plug it in and see what we get. So we have a green light. We have a fan spinning. We have a nice long dong. And we have a screen. which pretty much means that this is good. Obviously, yeah, you have to run ASD and all that other good stuff, but just seeing not even before you even get the dong and before you even get the screen, just seeing a fan spin on a board that looks like this is pretty fun. And I will follow up with some high resolution pictures to put in the video, because this is definitely one that's going on the wall. So let's just get the let's get the focus going here. Now, one thing to note about this is that the fan is no longer a customer or technician serviceable part, and I'm totally okay with that, because that's the direction that Apple has actually been asking that we all headed, and I feel like I'm just kind of stepping ahead, just a little bit ahead of them in following their lead. So first, the battery was not user removable. Then they made the drive not user replaceable by making it a proprietary type of drive instead of using the standard PCI Express M2 slot. Then they decided that, oh, the keyboard's going to be riveted into the machine so you can't replace it. Then they decided to make the battery glued into the machine to the riveted keyboard under the trackpad so that you can't replace the battery, the keyboard, the trackpad. Then the screen, instead of having a screen that screws into the computer, they have that adhesed one. Then they made it even one step worse, the retina. So you know what I'm doing? I'm taking a step in the right direction here. This fan is no longer user replaceable, which actually puts me ahead of where they are with the retina and the new Air. Because in those models, the fan is user replaceable. But here, you want that fan replaced? Good luck.